Oh, yeah.
Right, so this is the maiden flight of the FMS ESW 2500mm. The tide's in, so I haven't got a beach to fly off. There's not much wind, so I'm going to take my chances and fly up top here. But for coming into land, I'll have to circle behind myself and try and put it in. But I think this one is going to hold altitude for a while, so I'll struggle to get it down. I haven't got full house in, all I've got is 2-stage flaps, so hopefully that's enough. Give it a go.
Okay.
See if she flies.
What sort of battery you got in?
They recommended 2200 to 2600 4S,
Right.
but I haven't got any 4S of that size, so I'll put a 3300 4S.
I mean, it doesn't need a lot of
I'm
pads.
still getting CG. The critical thing is getting CG. The CG is 80 to 70mm.
Right.
Got it marked on the bottom here.
Yeah.
See that?
Let's zoom in
Two
on
lines
that.
on the bottom. That's the
Aye.
80 to 70mm for the maiden flight. I've got a touch nose heavy at 70mm.
Right.
And the battery position, obviously this is a bigger battery than what they advise, but you can see you've still got plenty of room to move that battery forward or
quite a bit
backwards.
there, isn't it? Yeah.
You can see that, John? So I put it together last night. It must have taken about 3 minutes max to put it together. 1, 2, 3. Any volume yet? Morning, Ethan. So I've got volume back on. I wonder if by posting that video on it overwrote my microphone. I just started fitting a LIghtBurner to my SU30, and I thought people might want to watch the install. It's actually from the LIghtBurner, ran from the LIghtBurner. I've already started fishing some cables through. Is the volume okay now, or do you think it needs turned up a bit? I don't turn it up too much because I've got a very deep, bassy voice. Yep, the video must have overwrote the audio from the webcam. I was out flying again last night with the FMS ESW 17. It was interesting because we had winds plus 25 miles an hour blowing straight off the land, worst case conditions, loads of rotor. Andrew came out and put a quad up and tried to get some chase footage, but the weather conditions was terrible. The plane handled it well, and it handled me landing, if you can call it a landing. It was more of a cartwheel crash. But the plane itself, if it had been any other model, I definitely would have tore the end of a wing off. But with this one, with having them plastic leading edges, are a godsend. They saved the model, I think. It's probably the worst landing I've ever attempted. Probably the worst conditions as well. All the aluminium mounts fine, perfect. I didn't doubt that for a second actually when you look at the way it's been made. And the way them bars screw into it, you're never going to have an issue with that. It's built to last, that aluminium mount. Even after the crash landing, the actual wing cam stayed attached as well, so I've got footage of it, which I'll probably post later on. And I've got some footage from Andrew's quad. Morning, Andrew. Yep, the Vortex. That must be what I've got, the Vortex, but the newer one. Yep. Oh, good model. The only issue I had with it, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the live broadcast, but when you come in from high altitude in a steep dive at full throttle, you sharp lose any steering capabilities. I think because the surfaces are flexing that much with the speed. No, oh sorry, you're on about a multi-rotor, aren't you? I'm on about the glider. Vortex 285. Yeah, oh, that's an old one, isn't it? It's a collector's item, that. That was, I think that's what I learned to fly with. The Vortex 285 with the folding arms. Morning, Tony. Hello there, Liz. Morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good day, or good night, wherever you are. Yep, the Vortex 285. I'm sure Mick Bunn bought that off us to learn to fly as well. I think the only issues I had with the Vortex 285 was trying to update it. It was a nightmare. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, that's what got me learning to fly in acro mode, the Vortex. And I think I stepped up to the Vortex. Oh my god, that was a good one. That was like a limited edition one. Good morning, Jeff. Yep, the Vortex 285. If I remember rightly, I had issues with the on-screen display settings as well. But it came in a nice little travel case, didn't it? Put your spare props in. Yep, that's right. Oh my god, it's one of them. But every time I tried to select one of the tunes, it just wouldn't recognise it. So I was stuck on a particular tune all the time and couldn't get off it. It was probably more than likely something I was doing wrong. And I did try the forums to no success, so I just left it on the tune that was in. That's the way I flew it. And I think from the, oh my god, the Vortex, I think I then moved on to the Shuriken, which was a Hollybro Shuriken, I'm sure. I used to fly that at the Bridge of Doom, as we called it, a steel structure. I used to face plant into that, trying to learn to power loop it. What's Jeff been up to lately then? Have you got any interesting models on the go, Jeff? You've always got some nice models. I got a bit ahead of myself actually when I started on this SEO. I just wanted to have a look before I went live, but then I started doing more and more, hence why it's part of it is already fitted. I've still got another one to do. Oh, this way. And then there was light. The Bridge of Doom. How these actually fit, It's obviously a 3D printed mount. With this being an in-runner, obviously the outer doesn't spin, so that stays static all the time. And I've just fished the motor cables that come from the brushless motor through the holes provided. And I've managed to take the JST connector through the same hole, just to keep it neat, to keep them all running in the same path. I'm not sure whether I'd add a little bit contact cement to this or just use the provided cable tie. To be honest, with the airflow I can't see it going anywhere with the cable tie on, and the 3D print does look good quality. So I'll probably just use the cable tie, although it wouldn't hurt to put a little bit of contact cement on it, I suppose. But I don't think I've got any at hand, so a cable tie it will be. It's quiet in my house now. I was up raw about 10 minutes ago. Had internet burning all over the place, washing machines, dryers going, spray guns going. I've chucked them all out. Right to left when I started shouting. I kicked everyone off the internet. My son's upstairs sulking. My grandson's away at McDonald's with my wife. Tell them to bring us a Happy Meal back with a free toy. What are you doing today, Andrew? What are you doing? Yep, something in your bathroom again? Or oh no, you were going with the wife, weren't you? Horse riding. You're a horse rider, aren't you? Your favourite cup? Coffee smudges are alright. I actually seen Pilot Ryan. I just clicked onto one of his live videos that was broadcasted last night. And I'd seen he'd just done an install of a LIghtBurner. I thought I might as well get this one done, because I do want to get this SU back up in the sky, but I wanted the LIghtBurner in first, so I started stripping it down and then thought, hang on a second, I better put this on live. But if anybody doesn't know who Pilot Ryan is the king of the rats in America. He's the guy that started all these, well, I don't know if he started them, but he's probably one of the biggest at the live broadcasts, and he gets all the nice, good models. He's very successful, and he's got a great channel. You can look him up on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. During the furlough period when we're off work, I used to always tune in, because sometimes I'd go out at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. But with being back to work now, it's trying to get the sleep in you. Just can't do it. Oh, you just finished tiling your bathroom. Back in the house, fitting the sink. Penny won, did she? Oh, so was it Penny riding the horse? Or was it a little pony she rides? A little Shetland thing, or is it a proper horse? Penny's only 4, isn't she? I'm frightened of horses. They haven't got an ignition key where I can turn them off. Right, I better start on with this.
Wish I had a proper place to fly so I could get some decent models, but the farmers around here are funny, so I tend to fly off public right of ways. So much room. Would love big ADF. Yep, that would be my ideal situation, having some private land to fly from. Because like you say, you'd like an EDF. If I had somewhere private to fly from, I'd have a turbine straight away without a shadow of a doubt. A big dirty turbine. Ah, it's brilliant. So she's got her own horses. Andrew, you spoil her mind, don't you? Dear me. 3 horses at 4-year-old. Hopefully Andrew's going to buy a plot of land to build a house on and a runway strip. That's what I'm waiting for. Or could win the lottery and all chip in and buy one. She has too many. How many horses do you actually need? But I suppose that's like the wife saying to you, how many aeroplanes do you need? You've got 8! Dear me! How much does that cost to feed them? Feed them, water them, shoe them or whatever you do? Yep, but your planes are cheaper than horses, Andrew, surely. And the upkeep of a plane is surely cheaper than the upkeep of a horse. That's true, Steve. She can't complain then, can she? I don't ask. What you do, just hand over the card. There you go. More shoes. That's true. Everything FPV related only costs £20. Or you're buying it for a friend. Or you get it delivered to the friends. Oh, where did that come from? Oh, I didn't know I had that. That's an old one I already had. Oh, look what such and such give us. Oh, I got this free. Loads of excuses. Well, I'm just going to carry on the build with this. So I've decided just to use the cable tie to hold it in place. $70mm in runner. When I eventually crash this model, it'll be good to reuse these fans, I think. Quite a nice fan. 1850s. Andrew, are you the only one in again from Northeast FPV? Everybody's still abed. Oh, did I say 20 in? Sure, I've seen 20 in. Just looking to make sure that's square. Looks pretty square. Blind man on a galloping horse wouldn't notice that. It's Sunday, they have a lie-in. I hate lie-ins. What a waste of a day. I'd rather go to bed early than have a lie-in. But if you go to bed early, is it still classed as a lie-in because you've been to bed longer? Interesting. A little bit slippy. I guarantee I'm going to snap this cable tie because I like everything tight. I don't know, like I think I would still class it as a lie-in if you go to bed early. It's cheating. I don't know, it's cheating. It just makes common sense to me. I'd rather do what I need to do while it's daylight. Keep getting an interference on me mic. I can see it flashing up at the bottom. Could be coming from my fridge freezer. Like a rattling noise. That's true. The longer I lie in bed, the worse I feel. Oh, it's getting tighter. Maybe a little cable tie on there. When I dismantled, when I took this EDF unit out of the model, I noticed I had these connections taped, the 3 phases, which I like to see, but I heard maybe mine was done at the factory because I've seen a lot of people complain that the ESC had moved and pulled out these plugs on the SU30. So maybe he's done pack them all and tape them all back up as soon as they've seen that, which is good, if that's the case. Well, we're happy with that cable tie then, Simon, that's the main thing. I know it's going to be okay because everybody does it, but I don't know, I might drop a little bit of contact cement on there. But I'm happy with it for the time being. Snippety snips. Don't cut the wires, Simon. Oh, lovely jubbly. Ran must have good snips because he's getting his cable tie cut off closer than what I have. These must be chippy ones. No, mine's better now. Got in closer. Don't think Rand's in, is he? Right, so I'm just going to drop this one back in and pull the next one out. Do you think I should put a cable tie on there? Stop them waffling about. Or maybe a bit of black tape would be better, but just attached to one phase. Otherwise I'll not be able to separate the phases. A little bit black tape. Put on the black phase. phase 2. And I must remember to tape up these connections once it's all put back inside, because no doubt if you come in for a heavy landing and the ESC moves, it's going to pull out that connection to the motor. Oh, it looks better than a cable tie, doesn't it? Which way over? That looks better, I'll be fine. That's getting nowhere. I don't know what hole in the bottom's for, I've just noticed that. Oh, that's a location point? No, it can't be. The main question is this going to fit back in the hole? Seems it's extended in length now. That's what I'm about to find out. But you want it to fit in smoothly, don't you? You don't want to have to chop foam to fit anything in. You want it just to drop straight in there. Let's see. Yep, perfect fit, straight in. Fire! Ah, looks clean that. Nice and clean. So that's the GST from the afterburner. And what I've actually done is, I did get ahead of myself and I fished the Y connector with the two GSTs through the fuselage. So I've got them both just sitting here ready to plug in. I like to be prepared because it is a narrow channel through there. All I used, I just got a cable tie, long cable tie. All them fishing wires you get with the motion or seaplanes come in handy for stuff like that. So I'll plug that one in before I forget. Do I need to tape up this GST connector? What's the worst would happen if it came undone? One afterburner wouldn't work, so we're not going to bother taping that up, that'll be fine. I'll take out this other EDF unit. I'll have to take off the tape that they've got on the connectors. Has anybody had an EDF unit where the colour harmonisation has been the same at both sides? Because I haven't yet. You've got yellow to yellow, red to black, and black to red. I've never had one yellow to yellow, red to red, and black to black. Then blue to... But I know this one's yellow to yellow, red to black, and black to red. Them screws are over there. They're just held in with two little Allen key bolts. And obviously you've got the EPO foam housing around it to hold it down in place. So that EC goes this way. Luckily on the SU30, the cover plate down the centre, normally I know on the SU35 it's glued down, but on the SU30 it's a fairly rigid piece of plastic, so it actually screws in place. You can see them little holes where it screws in. So you can take it on and off when you like, I suppose, and you're not having to re-glue it, which I suppose is better, but it's part of the reason that this is a heavy bird, because of stuff like this. Once you start taking out stuff like that and put thinner stuff in and less screws, they start to get lighter, but obviously not as good as quality. Right, so I'm going to connect these ESC back up, yellow to yellow, fact, I'll tape them as I'm going. I think otherwise I'm definitely going to forget to tape them. They'll end up getting pulled out. I just use electrician's tape. It's black electrician's tape. It's a glove. Ah, it's a glove. It does fit nicely. It is a nice fit. I like things to fit properly the way they should. I hate having to make alterations. Hate having to chop out foam. Hate having to replace servos because they're not up to the task. Hate having to replace reed tracks because they're not up to the task. Hate anything like that. When I buy something, I just want it to work. Like everybody does. Right, we're going black to red. And that's on the EDF unit motor, the three phase, not the GST connector. A little bit of tape on there. And I've got another one here, red to black. And while I'm there, I might as well screw that fan back down. Or did I leave it off? Who cares? That's nicely taped up. Sure they'll fit back in the channel, which they do. And they'll now have the GST wire run alongside them. That's fine. It was a tight squeeze to get them cables in the channel to start with, and the small GST cables haven't made it any harder. It's just the way it was to start with. So the next EDF unit, as you can see, they've taped these up, which I was saying before is a good thing to do. Try to find the end of the tape. It's just packing tape, so I think this has been an afterthought. I think somebody's complained, so I went back and taped them all up. You never find the end of the tape. Oh, found it. One more to go. I would have brought the camera closer so you can see what I'm doing, but the cable's not long enough. This is a big model, but you can see the area I've got to work in. I'll try and pick it up. Put the fan back inside. Actually found a small little issue, not so much of an issue, but something that wasn't too good with the model when I started to dismantle it. Nothing's going to fall off. Oh, you're never going to see that. Oh. Oh, it's a big bird. So you can see where the ESCs are placed, and if you look right at the bottom where they've got the dead weight in the tail in the centre, that steel tube, right on top of there, there's actually a foam piece a little square section that covers the cables, and I just touched it with my finger and it nearly fell off. But I suppose that's a good thing, because if you've got to fish cables through there anyway, you've got to remove that, so they have made it removable, which is easier to get to. But it's a nice setup, that. No, I hate building as well. If I had to build my own planes, I would never fly. I've always said that. I want to spend time in the sky, not on the ground, sitting building with lollipop sticks and matchsticks. So that's the EDF, the way it comes out. What I've had to do with the other one, if you see this angle here, the way the cables have been formed to come back into the fuselage, I've bent this a little bit further down, just so it fits nicely when you put the 3D printed unit on the top of it. I'll show you what I mean. I'll find the other LIghtBurner. Oh, there it is. Fire. Fire down below. Yeah, it's a shame about that 90mm F18. You don't want to buy a model and have to do work on it. That's, I mean, have they still got issues with the F18? Such a nice looking model as well, but like you say, that's what put me off it. But I could say, obviously they're having crashes with F18, and it's not good at all. Our winch one retracts don't work, never mind your plane falling out of the sky. Yep. And what version are they on now? Because they did they make some alterations to the horizontal surfaces at the back? I see a lot of people strengthening them up and changing stuff on them. When you're spending that much on a model, you can understand it if it was like a pre-production model and it was just testing. But this model's available to buy. I'm sure they'll get to the bottom of it though. Sure of it. Right, so as you can see, what you need to do is these cables need to fish through one of them holes. Preferably the hole with the GST wire coming through, just to keep it neat and to keep them all in the same space. But if you look at the height, all I'm going to do is bend them cables down just a little bit more, just so they're not sitting against the bottom of the unit and there's no back pressure on it trying to push it off. It hasn't fully fixed the issue. The problem you get there as well is when people do have a unscheduled landing with a model, like I did last night, by accident, my fault, totally my fault. They'll start and blame that as the fault instead of pilot error. I'm a firm believer, if you know it's your fault, you say it straight away. You don't let people think it was something the matter with the model when it wasn't. So I've just shortened that angle a smidge. A smidge, Steve? Like that one, a smidge? Then just a case of fishing the 3 cables through that hole where the JST one's going. Obviously you're not going to get them all through in one go, so you fish them through one at a time. We'll start with the black one. Yep, that's a black one in. You can bring them through another hole, it just makes it a neater fit if you've got everything through the same hole, and there's plenty of room there to do it. Well, there's plenty of holes to choose from if you want to do it any other way. Two in, it's the 3rd one. Yellow, look at yellow. Never eat yellow snow. So there we go. The cables are all running through the same hole now. Then just fits like a glove. Fits like a glove. It's a bit wonky donkey, but we'll straighten that up before we put the cable tie on. Wonky donkey. Blind man on a galloping horse will not notice that. That's better. Straight as a die. Another cable tie somewhere. Or if I lost it, will I have to get some of mine out of the garage? And I'll get one of mine out of the garage. Is that one? Oh, that's a terrible one. Put a black one on this one. Just go and get some. Just keep yourself occupied while I nip to the garage. The garage is at the back of the house. Yeah, I see exactly what you mean, Steve. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if any of you are following the Air Marshal. It's another YouTuber in the States. Has a very good channel, very informative. Where tragedy struck his family recently, so all thoughts and prayers out to the Air Marshal. Awful thing to happen. It's the thing that when I first started, obviously I had a few locals that would subscribe to my channel, but I think how we got to the 1,000 subscribers was the likes of RCR Marshall, Jeff's Custom RC, Pilot Ryan. They all give us shout outs on that channel, a lot of them, and even Jeff Nichols. That's what made my channel grow, but it mostly came from America. It's all about going on other people's channels and not so much giving advice, just chatting about commenting, liking that stuff. it's a massive community, so there's loads of information out there, and when you've got the right contacts it makes it so much easier. I mean, I'm having a few issues at the moment with YouTube live streaming. It's basically just the setup, but I know for a fact if I reach out to one of these guys, they'll give us the information straight away without a shadow of a doubt. They'll tell us how to do it, which I do need to do at some point. Because as your channel starts to grow, you don't want to become stagnant and just stick to the same thing. You want to start and bring new things to the table. And I'm not seeing a lot of live events for the RC community on YouTube. And maybe that's more of something we could do if that's what people want to see. Obviously everybody loves the chase footage. That's what got us started. Everybody loves a bit chase footage. But it's nice to have something else when you can't get out there because the weather's not letting you. Just to keep it fresh, isn't it? That's all it's for. Yeah, it's all about supporting the like-minded people. You're right, Andy. RC Superpowers. Never heard of that one. RC Superpowers. Are they still on the go, Steve? Yeah, banter makes a difference, definitely. But I know what you're saying. I mean, I enjoy sometimes, all the lads will tell you that I like getting out there by myself early in the morning, but a lot of the times I don't post them videos because they're just like a me time thing, chill, relax and fly. But like I say, it's good to have the banter. That's why you should move back up to the northeast, Steve. I've got plenty of banter for you. Call me the spoon. Call us a spoon for a reason. I talk to myself a lot as well. Yep. Yeah. I know a few guys have built a lot of depth run models. Depth run's very light, isn't it? Really light, so you can get some really light builds with big EDFs or pushers in them. It's lighter than APS depth run. I'm not so much a wind up motion, I just see it the way it is. It's where I am, and now it will change that. It's on. Snippy snips. Do you want to cut the wire? Not the blue wire anyway. Four and a half flight test. Oh, I don't remember him. Saying that, I haven't been in this hobby very long at all. I've only been in this hobby probably 5 years. So a lot of guys I missed. There was a good channel when I first got into it. I can't remember their name, but it was about 4 or 5 guys together just flying and having a bit of laugh and banter, and it was brilliant. Can you remember who they were? Yep, it's good to get on the water. I think the only water plane I flew was the Hobby King Albatross. We have got a beaver in the group. We're just waiting on some floats so we can get out and fly that on the water. If David can't make it up here, I'll fly it. I'm happy to fly it off the water. Spectra. That was it. Spectra. That was brilliant, that wasn't it? Brilliant crack. What's the Night Tundra? What's this one? Is this a modification of the Hobby King Tundra, Ethan? Or is this one you've made yourself? Snippity snip. We'll put a little bit of tape on that wire again. Take out the papers and the trash. You won't get no spending cash. Never heard of them neither, Steve. Like I say, I'm new to it. Alright, so it's a modified Gyrofly Tundra with LED strips. I thought they had brought a new one out. That's gotta think, I'd like to have one of them. I love the Tundra. Yep, the Night Tundra. Yep. Have you got videos of that up, Ethan? Have you? Yep, but you didn't have the rudder assembly attached, did you, Andrew? Or did you? I can't remember. The Hobby King Albatross is definitely a good one on water. It's basically a boat anyway. I think I flew that off the River One spec, Steve. The Albatross, it's a lovely river that. Early in the morning, I think that was probably 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. My brother's got that now. Oh, you had the rudder attached, did you, Andrew? It's just because you're used to flying off land, that's all. Once you get used to it, because the floats have got to reach the optimal speed to lift it up onto the plane, because when they're sunk in the water, it's just full drag. But once you reach that optimal speed and it's known what that speed is, they then become light on the top of the water. Then at that point, that's when they start to become unstuck from the water and take off. If you just go flat out straight away, I would imagine they would just lift their nose and drag you. You've just got to build the momentum up. Avios Grand Tundra, yeah, I've got that one in the garage. Haven't got any floats for it, but I've got that one in the garage. Do you think the Avios Grand Tundra flies as good as the original smaller Tundra? Oh, I'm not saying as good, which one's the most fun? I know which one I think's the most fun. The Bushmule's good plane, good twin plane, isn't it? Andrew, your brother's got that one, isn't he, Andrew? Danny boy. Right, so we've just tidied that up a little bit. Just tape that in with a black lead, so it's not going to start to get pulled in or anything daft. Not that it would get pulled in, because the airflow on this back over, sucking in at the front and blowing out at the back. Danny boy, aye. It is a good plane. Bush mule. The Sky Mule. The Sky Mule, and to be honest, I think I only had, what was it, probably a handful of flights with it, and then the motors started to get very gritty on it. But it could have been flying off the beach. But that, as soon as you hit the power, it was vertical straight away. You could take off in 2 foot. Alright, do you think you could be getting a bit of vibrations through it that's causing it, to make it look like jello? Try soft mounting your camera and that might take care of that. I've had that issue before. and it was more to do with the jello and the vibrations running through the fuselage. Yeah, the Grand Tundra is the best Tundra, but for sheer fun, the small Tundra is brilliant. Isn't that right, Andrew? How many battles in the sky did us have with the little Tundras? When one of them fell out of the sky and we're both trying to fly one aeroplane, hoping it was ours. How many Tundra? I think I've had 2 of the smaller Tundras and I've got the big Tundra. But it's a plane I would always probably buy at some point again, the small Tundra, just for the sheer fun of it. I must land, got to land. We played a game, it was in high winds, and we're taking off into the wind, putting a turn in, then you had to land, you couldn't go around. So we're both trying to land in the same spot at the same time. And it doesn't matter whether you were coming down on the other plane or not, you still had to land it. And we had a few collisions, didn't we? I sold my second one, I think. I don't know why, because they're brilliant planes. It's a plane everybody wants to have in the hangar. A Tundra. I'm just going to drop this back in. What colour do you like the best of the Tundras? I like the orange one, mate. I think it stands out better in the sky. I always remove the connectors on the wings also. I just hardwire them. Because the way we fly them, we do a lot of battling with them. And obviously unscheduled landings. And when the connector starts to flex a lot with a little circuit board behind, I've seen servos off on, off on, off on. So I decide, even when they're brand new, I rip out them connectors and just put the Y harness in. 2 Y harnesses, one at the aileron, one at the flaps, job done. Never had to worry about it again. Ethan's on his second one. Yeah, I like this. I had the original V1 with the hard foam tyres. Then when the V2 with the soft tyres came out, oh, they're lovely. But the wheels always seem to flout, you know, keep bending them in. But we've done away with the springs that normally hold the wheels in, and we started using elastic bands. And if you needed it stiffer, you just doubled up on the elastic bands, which made them much better. And we always flew them tail heavy. When you put the battery pack in, you just want to see it on the back edge. I've seen people flying them and open the canopy and you can see the battery straight inside. We were pushing ours all the way back until you could just barely see it, and it seemed to fly much better. That's that one in, perfect fit again. Just going to move it back out a bit so I can take these connections up before I screw it down. It's GST for that one. Back to black, red, black, red. Tape. Alright, thanks for dropping in, Steve. Get that bathroom sorted out. And if you have any problems with it, I'm sure Andrew will help you out because he's a plumber. Catch you later, Steve. Silly boy. Now we're being foolish. Just plugged the wrong cable in. So that square plate I was on about on the back end here, covering that dead weight that fell off. Well, it didn't fall off, I give it a little bit dissuasion. But that's the actual plate. That would normally be sitting in that sort of, in fact I better hide the operator number. That would sort of be sitting in that orientation there when it's on the model. But this piece here just gives it a gentle persuasion and it just popped off. The reason why it popped off, see that's APU there. But that APU hasn't got any glue on it. The reason why it didn't have any glue on it is because it was covered in blue paint and the glue was on the blue paint. So as soon as I just give this gentle persuasion, it popped off and left all the paint in place in a sheet of paint. So I just peeled it off and you've got great access to the motor cables. Then I'll glue this on properly straight onto the APU. Just score it up a bit. Or did I just glue it lightly? Because what happens if I want to get into that dead weight at the back to change it? That's a point. And it's a good place for a camera position where that dead weight is. I've actually thought about taking the dead weight out, drilling it, tapping it out with an M6 and put a camera mount there. I might do that. I think some people are dubious about fitting afterburners because you're adding tail weight to the model, even though it's very small weight. But for me it's the opposite, because I think this model needs a little bit more tail weight at the back. So I'm looking forward to testing it on the beach to see if it moves my centre of gravity a little bit further back. Probably not, like, because they aren't heavy at all, there's hardly any weight in them. Because I've struggled to get this one off the floor on the beach. I think I've only flown it a handful of times, and every time I've struggled to get enough speed built up to get the nose gear light sort of lift. The nose gear always seems heavy on it. And by moving the CG further back, will that help the nose lift? But every time I've flown it, the beach hasn't been in its perfect condition. Sometimes the sand's been a bit soft. So it could be that that's causing it. Just had to try it again, and it will be soon, because now I've got the afterburners in. I need to get it up in the sky. Well, that's my daughter just came in interrupting me live chat as normal. Impotent. So that's the afterburner's back in place. The EDF's back in place. I'm just going to screw them down and I'll tidy the cables up. Everything looks fine there. Find the screws for them. May as well screw both of them down. One. I need to get myself a little rechargeable screwdriver. So one of these old-fashioned spin things. There's some good screwdrivers out at the minute. I forget what they call them, but you just gesture the movement and it'll actually start spinning. Probably expensive though. And that's the EDF units back in with the afterburners both installed. Make sure they're tight. So, it's fine. I never over tighten these because most of the time they're just going into plastic anyway, which is why I just use a little screwdriver like that instead of a big chunky thing. Again, I've got the second afterburner GST connection. I've got the Y harness already plugged out on the center section. So I'm just going to plug that directly into the GST. That's it done. Then I can pull these cables further through. They come through there nicely now. You can see them there. Yep. Got the cables here. That's just taped a bit long cable tie. I'll probably have to pull a bit back to roll them through here. I'm just going to make sure everything's sitting nicely. Nothing's caught up. Nice. This one. Is in as well. Cables will run down there. I'll just do a test fit with the actual outer housing. Alright, well, not sure if these are handed actually. No, I wouldn't have thought so. Ah, it is one, that's handed. That's probably that one. Yep, perfect fit, straight on. These are actually handed, a right and a left. It's probably written on there, I just haven't noticed it. No, it's not. That's in, cables in, and just put one in place. May as well screw them down while I'm here. Get the bolts. I need to get myself a little magnetic tray. I hate the glue on the paint. For what it takes, just scrape a bit off, because when you put glue on top of a painted surface, it's not going to hold. You're relying on the paint to hold your model together, and it's not going to happen. Not at all. Always get that paint off, rough it up a bit. I even put tiny little holes in the, especially if it's something structural. With this, it doesn't really matter because it's just a cover, but you don't want to lose that cover. Just put a few little holes and get it stuck in. Rotamash, you've flown yours. Yep. What size battery pack did you use in yours? Me landings haven't been too bad with it. But it was just getting the speed up on the ground to get it to lift, what I've had issues with. $5,000. What pack was that? What manufacturer? Forgetting the packs I'm using now. HRB 6000. I've got in the nose of mine, but I've got an HRB 6000 that actually comes in lighter than a heavy duty Turnigy 5000. See, heavy duty Hobby King battery. They're called heavy duty for a reason, because they are heavy. Like I say, I've got a 6000 HRB pack that's lighter than the heavy duty Turnigy pack from Hobby King. Yeah, I'll try a lighter pack. I haven't tried them yet, but I think the ideal pack for this, weight wise, is going to be the 5000 HRB pack. I think the 6000 is still a little bit heavy, so the HRB pack. So you're weighing, when you're putting heavy packs in planes, heavy packs, more milliamp hours. So if it's a 6000 pack and you put it in a plane, it's a seesaw, because you think you're making more time by putting a bigger pack in, but you're losing efficiency because of the extra weight. So sometimes dropping down to a 5000 pack is better. I haven't tried the 5000 HRB pack yet, but me personally, I think that's the way to go, and that's what I will be looking to purchase. Yeah, different weight. You see a lot of reviews on these models, and they talk about the centre of gravity, but you're not seeing actual measurements. They talk about battery position. So they'll say stick a 5000 pack all the way up to the nose, or all the way back, or this centre line. But 5000 packs range in weight massively. So what one person's got in a 5000 and another person's got in a 5000, the weight could be way apart. So I always like to use measurements. Then providing you get the same measurement they have got, then you're fine. But going off somebody else's battery position is never a good thing to go off, just because of the fact that all battery packs differ in weight. Oh, lots of science, yeah. It gets a bit baffling sometimes. No, I haven't glossed it up yet. Oh, that's John. That's for me SU. It's not for me SU30. They call this an SU30, but I don't think it's an SU30. I think, or is it? SU27, SU30. This is for me SU35. The water-based polyacrylic protective finish. So I'll be putting that straight onto the SU35. But John, you're more than welcome to come over here and get offers and do your FMS pits first, if you want. And you can show us how you've done it, because I don't know whether to airbrush this or not, brush it or not what. Or just hide the tin at it and hope it sticks. You don't remember seeing what fly, Tony? Do yours, do yours, do yours, do yours. I will when I get time, it's just finding the time at the minute. I'll tell you what, bring your brushes and you pop over here and do it, then take the tin away with you. I didn't think it was an SU30, I thought it was more like SU27. Hello Josh, sorry, I answered your question without greeting you. Mr. Josh Weaver RC. Yep, it is a fantastic looking model. And it would be a brilliant model if somehow they could get the weight down on it. But to get the weight down on it, you start to sacrifice. Do you sacrifice quality because you're using lighter components? Probably. Could you get away with putting a single EDF in there? I very much doubt it because of the weight. But if you look at the likes of the Typhoon, the Typhoon was brilliant lightweight model, but it was a lightweight model because it was a single EDF and it was made of EPS. It was a single EDF, wasn't it? I'm sure it was a single EDF. And it was made of EPS, which is very lightweight. Yeah, definitely SU27. I don't know why they called it an SU30. They probably thought people wouldn't notice the difference. Oh, they sound nice, definitely. They do sound nice, but I've noticed that a lot more and more. These manufacturers like FMS and Motion RC bringing out the newer upgraded EDFs are sounding more and more better, and I think they're in a fight with each other at the minute who's got the best sounding EDF. I know Andrew just put the new EDF motor, FMS motor in his F18. That sounds gorgeous. Oh, definitely good for us consumers, that's what you need. That's why when you see people slagging off companies, it's not good at all, because we need as many companies as possible going, because it's competition and it's more product, better value for us. I see Hobby King keep getting a bad time on the internet, and why? We need the likes of Hobby King to bring these products to us. Not just, obviously they don't sell the high-end EDFs, but the battery packs, the tools, the components, everybody uses Hobby King. T28, the large one, aye, that'll be nice. I'm due a new plane, I think. The trouble I've got at the moment is my garage is full of planes, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 planes in my dining room at the moment, but I don't want to part with any that I've got in the garage because I've had them a while and they're like my favourite models. I think I need to build a shed in the back garden, or sort my garage out, better arrangement of models. Does anybody use these little servo connector savers? I've just actually put one on this model for the throttle connection, obviously because I'm going into the Y lead with afterburner. So I've actually used like a servo connection saver, so when you're fishing cables, if you put your connection goes in there, just holds the male and female side together, so there's no chance of you pulling it out by mistake. I've had them sitting in my drawer for a while, just now I use them, and I thought this prime opportunity, so I've just stuck one in the SU27, we'll call it. Aye, bigger house, more planes. Yep, you see, it's the likes of little components like this that we pick up from Hobby King. And I've had these sitting in my drawer for ages, and well, hang on, I was about to tape the servo connection up, and I thought, I've got some of these connectors, stuck one on, brilliant little things. Gives you a little bit of peace of mind that your throttle cable is not going to come detached anyway, once you've put a Y connector into it. Right, I'll screw these EDFs down. Does anybody like the colour scheme of the SU27? It's starting to grow on me, but when it does become damaged, I will be doing a full colour change. More of a military scheme, I think. I keep seeing an SU30 advertised in China as an FMS model, but I haven't seen it in the EU or America yet. Does anybody know anything about that? Is it a new model coming out, or did FMS actually make this model? Yeah, there's some definitely nice touches to these cheetah holes. The cheetah holes on the SU35 are actually still EPS. There's no plastic in them, where these are plastic. And when you pick your model up by the intakes, you can put your thumb straight through that one. While this one, they are a lot more solid. But again, that's added weight. If I put this cover back on, I'll leave it off for the time being. Is anything going to fall out? I think I'll just put a couple of screws in to hold it in place. Maybe. So again, like I said, this section here that goes underneath is normally just a piece of flexi vinyl, but this is like a hard plastic, which again is adding weight to the model. Is plastic needed? Obviously it's definitely, I'm not arguing the fact it's better quality, because it is. But with that added weight, does it fly better? No, it doesn't. Make sure not to trap any cables. 2 screws in here. Now I'll put my ollie in automatic and back inside there, do I? Once it's in, it's in. Fire in the hole. Yes, Josh Weaver, I was just saying before, it was guys like yourself that got my channel to grow, and I do believe that's what got it up to over 1,000 subscribers. Was the help from yourself. I think you and Jeff at Custom RC were the first guys to big us up in the UK, North East FPV, which I really appreciate. Right, so that's in, it's all installed. Check, tip this model over. 86 ladies. Oh my god. There we go. Right, so what I've got at the front here, find the cables, I've got the signal wire coming through. That should have the, in fact I need, oh there it is. I've got the signal wire from the control module, which with the balance lead connector, that plugs directly onto the 6S pack. And I've also got the Y connection from the GST of the 2 afterburners, what I fished through. So then guys, I can just plug that directly now straight into the controller. This controller here, it's already got the GST on it. And this module, this kit does come with the GST keys, the GST leads you need for whatever particular model you're buying it for. Fire. So that's in. The throttle is wide in to the afterburners, which is why I used the servo saver bit. That's in, that's in. I know what, I need to change this XT90 connector. For some reason, whenever I try and plug a battery into this connector, it just doesn't fit. It's like it's out of line. But every time I try to move the pins, I can never get it right. And I always get massive sparking. So I'm probably, today I'm going to cut this plug off and put a new plug on. This is the plug that was supplied with the model. It must be, maybe when they've soldered it up, they've put that much heat through it, it's just slightly moved it out of line. Maybe, maybe not. Because I know it's not my batteries, because they fit perfect on any other model.
Welcome to Jeopardy X.
I'm going to make me Tiger Cat, I think. Tiger Cats. Fire. Yep, it's a shame the wheel sits where it does, because if the nose gear didn't sit there, you could get that battery much further back. Yep, you like the colour scheme. It does look nice in the sky, and I do like it. But if I damaged the model, would I paint it the same scheme? But I'm looking at it now on my screen without looking at it then. It does look nice. I don't know. Yep, much appreciate that, Josh. You've been great for North East FPV. Fantastic. Yep, that's definitely a bad connection on that plug.
Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
Fire. We have fire. The problem is, if I turn this around to show you it working, I'm just looking at what I'm actually going to blow it over. So anyway, I can do this without wrecking me secret bunker. Or should we just go for chances and hope I don't damage anything? Yes or no? No, it's an XT90 plug. Yep, it's XT90. But since I got it, it's now been a proper fit. It's one of them things, it's probably just had too much heat on during the soldering process. So I'll just cut it off and put a new one on. It's not that much of an issue if you've got to kind of bend it in. Does anybody want to see the fire? You want to see his wreck me secret bunker? Fire. Oh dear me. You can actually see them from behind, can't you? You can actually see them there. Problem is, this stuff on the wall behind the monitor, as soon as I put this on, it's all going to come down. I should have thought this out a bit more, I think. Questions? I'm going to unplug that in case it does fall down. They're always better looking from behind. You want to see it? So I've got this set to come on at halfway. Probably give it a little bit of a flicker first. Hang on, what's going to break? Something's going to break here. Put that in there. That actually blew me monitor. It blew me monitor over. Dear me. My whole monitor screen moved. Did you see that though? My curved monitor screen actually just tipped like that. Why the camera moved off. Yep, it's stock power setup. Did they look good? Should I try it again? Should I move the plane further back? No. No, I'm happy with that for the time being. I'm going to cause some damage. Yep, Ran, they definitely work. We'll unplug this model.
Telemetry lost.
So the next time you see these will be on the beach, and hopefully I can get Andrew to do some chasing, get on my tail. Still got to glue this little piece back in place. But I'm thinking maybe an early morning or late evening flight, because it'll be nice to see, because it's got a few other lights on it, nav lights on, it'll be nice to see it lit up in the sky. The only trouble is, by doing filming when it's dusk, is the GoPro doesn't like dark conditions. You start to get the grainy effect on screen. Have you still got your pitot tube attached to your SU-27, we'll call it, 30? To be honest, I was supplied instructions from Ran how to install this, but I'm terrible. Instructions just going out the window. I just work it out. I actually snapped the pitot tube off my SU-27, hence SU-30, 27, whatever we're calling it. I need to reattach it back on. I snapped that off, I think it was on its maiden flight. I hate snapping them off. So with my tail section, normally you would glue this piece on. I just pop some magnets, just recess some magnets in there. So now just I can remove it whenever I want. It's been okay. The red antenna, is that red antenna on the chain? Is it white? Oh, oh right, I see the ones you mean, yeah. Need some hot glue around to reinforce them, yeah. Oh, these little ones on the front here. To be honest, that's the first time I've noticed them. It's a nice little touch. I'm thinking about mounting my Instago camera. I don't know if any have seen my video with the new Instago camera. It's like kind of a stabilised footage, onboard footage. And I'm going to make a hard point somewhere on this tail surface where I can have it looking straight through the verticals to to the front of the fuselage. I just haven't worked out how I'm going to do it yet. But that new FMS glider, the ASW, it's already got 2 hard points on the wings above the servos, so the Instagur just sits straight onto them. You have to do nothing, just on. Love it. That's what obviously not a lot of people won't, but me, to ask for something from these designers who create these models, I would love them to come up with various hard points, or even the standard camera metric thread they use. I've forgotten what it is, M4, M5, whatever it is. Just to have them below the surface so you can fit cameras. If they're standardized and all the manufacturers use the same size thread, then we'll get lots of 3D printed brackets to fit various cameras, because I hate gluing brackets or double-sided sticky tape and cameras to models. It just rips the paint clean off them. Yep, it's a great camera. Obviously it's never going to be your main camera, it's never going to replace my GoPro 7, but for the size of it, this is the camera you will put in them places where you won't put a GoPro, won't put a Mobius, won't put a Foxia, won't put a Runcam. You would actually put this camera there because of the weight. I've forgotten what weight it is now, but that's the actual camera itself. And this is 1080p. It's probably around 24 frames per second, I think. But the beauty about this is not only the size and weight of it, which I'll tell you in a second, it's recording modes. It can stabilize the footage to just a stabilizer point where you're still getting the bank and roll, but it's kind of taking out the jerkiness of it. Or you can fully stabilize the focus, the camera, so if the camera turns 360 degrees like that, the picture is still straight, doesn't lose its horizon, so it makes it look like the model is rotating around the camera, which is a brilliant effect. And the weight of this, hang on, 19 grams. I'll just double check that. 18 grams. 18 gram camera. And just weigh my GoPro camera, the camera I normally use for all the chasing. 122 grams. So you're not going to stick a 122 gram camera on your wing, on your outer wing. But for something like this, I did the maiden flight with the ASW. I put an 18 gram camera near the wing tip pointing in. Didn't affect the plane one bit. Didn't have to add weight to the other side. Obviously it's a big 2.5 meter wing on it, but didn't affect it one bit. Perfect. So this type of camera you will put anywhere. Yep, it is small and lightweight, Josh, and it does give a reasonable picture as well. But that's it there. And it has got the recording modes. When you record with it, you don't have to say stabilization, stabilization on, stabilization off. What you do, you just do your standard FPV recording. It's called FPV mode, because FPV mode is a longer recording, which will record for 5 minutes. When these cameras first came out, they would only record for around 60 seconds because they overheat, because it's fully sealed and it can't get rid of the heat. but they have upped that to 5 minutes for us guys that fit them to aircraft or FPV quads. So you can run the camera for 5 minutes, so you just click record, off you go. Your flight is never longer than 5 minutes anyway. So you actually get a good 5 minutes footage, then you just let it cool down a bit, then up for your next flight, 5 minutes footage again. But this camera you can actually put anywhere on any model, and it'll very rarely affect the control of the model. If it does affect the CG because you've got it that far back on the tail, you'll just move your battery to suit. But I haven't at all my CG for any model I've put this on. And it has got, what happens is, once you've done your flight, you pop off the camera, you put it back into its little holder here, which comes with it, this unit. So that just pops in like that. You can see the lights have come on, it's actually charging it straight away. So this is like a little battery charger in itself, but it uses this unit to transmit the data. You can plug directly into the side, transmit the data to your computer that way, or if you're out of the field and this is getting quite full, so I'm not sure how much data it actually holds, you can just plug it directly into your phone. I use iPhones, but I'm sure you can get an adapter for the like say Samsung phones. But so that unit just plugs direct in, so now you can transfer your files across to the phone to save the memory on the camera. So straight away it's coming across my files that I've already got on there. So you can just click on your file. I think this is one I've previously downloaded. So this was the flight I did the other day, and I think we're seeing a stabilized footage there because it looks like the plane is moving without the camera moving. Then this you can edit within the app, or you can just upload it straight away to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you use to upload it to. But brilliant little camera. I would like to see them upgraded in the future to the higher resolution camera. Obviously we're having the higher resolution, it's going to become a little bit bigger and probably more expensive, but this is perfect for us guys that love RC flying, whether it's you're flying quads, planes, helicopters, gliders, jets, scale warbirds. Put this on anything and get a nice video out of it with full stabilization on the roll axis. What you've got to remember is when you store it back in its holder, but if there's connections on the bottom here, what sends the signals through to the connections, actually you can just see them inside of there. When you put it back in, put it the opposite way around, otherwise you'll start to flatten the battery. So when you store it, you just put it the opposite way around. When you put it that way, see the power lights come straight on, and it's starting to communicate, starting to pass power over, so that can flatten the battery. So just put it the opposite way around, you're not going to flatten anything. I've just started the camera running. That's it. Brilliant little thing. Right guys, I think that's me done for this morning. Thanks for joining us while we fitted Ryan's LIGHTBurner. It was an experience. We nearly lost one of my curved monitors. Nearly blew it over. But yep, it's been good. Thanks for joining in. Especially you, Josh Weaver. Thank you very much. And I'm going to have something to eat now and probably go out flying. Not be there through the day because I want it dusk or night time, whichever. After I glue this part back on. But this is the new little quad I'm flying at the moment. Love this little 3-inch Coppice Mini. Fantastic little quad, and it'll even carry the GoPro 7. And on that note, I'll bid you farewell. Yep, sunset flight, definitely.